Hey y'all, welcome to the Southern Citizen Podcast. I'm the host, Hope Newsom Staples. If you're new here, the premise of the show is pretty simple. I like to sit down with folks I call Southern citizens. To carry the title of a Southern citizen, you have to meet two requirements. Number one, you've got to be from the American South, and number two, you've got to be 75 years or older. A few months back, I spent an afternoon with one of these Southern citizens. Enter Miss Pearl Campbell, a bubbly 76-year-old who is famous for her Southern comfort food. We spent the afternoon tucked away in a corner booth inside Pearl's Diner, her namesake. And we spent that time chatting about life, love, and the pursuit of good food. If you ever find yourself in downtown Laurel, Mississippi, do yourself a favor and go have lunch with Miss Pearl. The diner is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So listen in as we elevate the voice of a true Southern citizen. Can you introduce yourself for me?
Yes. Thank you for having me on here, Hope.
Yes, ma'am.
And my name is Pearl Campbell, and I'm the owner of Pearl's Diner, downtown Laurel, Mississippi.
When were you born, Miss Pearl?
I was born September the 19th, 1947, in Laurel. This is my hometown.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Where were you born?
Okay, here.
At the hospital, or do you know?
At the hospital.
Okay.
They had, I think my mom was a midwife, but I was, back in the day.
Yeah, your mom?
Midwives delivered.
Oh, delivered, yeah.
But my mom's kids were delivered at the hospital. I think it was a charity hospital.
Yeah? The one that it's not there anymore? I'm going to scoot your microphone a little bit closer.
Okay.
I like to ask that question because, I've interviewed folks that were born at home. One lady I interviewed said she heard she was born in the elevator at the hospital.
Oh, my goodness.
So I think it's fun to ask.
That was an experience.
I think it's fun to ask because sometimes people have interesting stories about their birth. Mm-hmm. So do you know of anything interesting that happened the day you were born that you've been told?
Not the day I was born.
Nobody's told you anything?
The only thing I can say was exciting going on. My mom had me and then 5 brothers.
Oh.
So I finally got my sister who is down in the diner with me.
Okay, so siblings. How many are there total? You
got, let me see next. How many siblings? Is it 9 of us? Dad had 2 more. 9 of us.
9 total. Okay, and what, you were number?
First.
You were number 1. Okay. Wow, that's awesome. So can I ask you how old you are today?
Yes, you may. I'm a very mature 76 years old.
Girl, you looking good. Okay.
Thank you. God has been good to me.
When you think back, what is probably your earliest memory?
The earliest memories that I have is like growing up and playing with my toys that my parents had bought me for Christmas. And then at this time, I'm just like a little toddler, walking around playing with my toys and things. The interesting part of my life going back was when I first went to grade school. They called it the pre-primer, I think. Yeah. I went to another little school that was for kids before. I can't remember now. But I know the person who owned it was Dr. Murph's wife, and he was a dentist.
Okay.
Kindergarten,
okay.
Then I can remember my mom taking me down to her mom, who is my grandmother, Miss Sarah, who already owned her own restaurant. And after I got old and got to where I did start noticing things and asking questions. Mama, my grandmother, who I call Mama, I call my mama Mama and my grandmother. She started calling and asking me to come help her shell peas or something like that. And I enjoyed that. I'm feeling like a big girl now. My grandma want me to help shell some peas she gonna cook. That was really the beginning of me paying attention to food and cooking and stuff.
And really the preparation.
The preparation and all that.
Because who picked the peas, probably? Did they grow them? Or they had gotten them probably from...
They got them from somebody.
Yeah.
Mama had a garden, but I don't think she grew peas.
Okay.
She did grow some greens,
Yeah.
though, and tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what, Hope, can I say something?
Yeah.
My grandmother's house was torn down because of some family stuff, and my aunt had it torn down by the neighbor, and he just gave $1 to buy it. I had gone to the neighbor and asked him if I put a garden there, and he had told me yes, but he's now deceased. I would love if I would have been able to actually get the garden and help take care of it and everything. And that still might be a possibility.
Yeah, to honor your grandmother.
Yeah. So what I do now, I go to Wiggins. My friend and I go to Wiggins. But when I first went to one of those places, I actually went out and picked tomatoes. And boy, I was excited.
Okay.
That made me go back to remembering. Back in the day, Mama had plums and berries and stuff that we could pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seems like your life's always sort of revolved around food in some way then.
Well, yes, it had to be because,
Yeah.
Mama having that business, all of us was involved
Yeah.
around the food, whether I was a part of it or just being there. I had one of my mother's brothers told me that I started walking at 9 months. And what he did, he put me on the table while my grandmama was cooking and said, come on. And I kept reaching out and said, my grandmama said, boy, you better not let my baby fall. And I started walking at that time.
That's so early to be walking.
9 months.
That's awesome. Well, so tell me a little bit about your parents, if you can.
I had my mother,
What was her name?
Jessie.
Okay.
My mother was the most wonderful person that to this point I've ever met. My mother never said curse, swear, or nothing. My mother was the homemaker and the mommy. And my grandmother, she was the grandmama, but she was more focused on the business.
Okay.
Because she had to get up early in the morning, cook breakfast on. But my mama, she was a housewife.
Okay.
And what she did in the earlier years of our children's life, she mostly just stayed at home with us to make sure we had breakfast when we left and dinner when we came in. But after then, she started filling in also with her mother. And I would go down there and help her out. So she was a part of the business, but she had to wait till we got up a certain age where she can actually take us down there, and we would be okay.
Yes, ma'am.
She was a Christian. We had to go to church, Sunday school.
Where did you go to church growing up?
St. Elmo Baptist Church.
Okay. It's still
Still up.
there. Okay.
We had to go to church every Sunday. We had to go to Sunday school every Sunday. We had to go to BTU at 5 o'clock, and we had to go to night service. So that we had to do that in order for us to go to the Lincoln Theater on Saturdays or something. If you missed that Saturday prior to you thinking you're going to miss that Sunday, then you didn't go that next Saturday.
She kept track of that.
Yes, she had a wonderful smile and a warm heart.
Yeah.
I think I get that part from my mama.
So.
It's like loving and all that. My grandmama was really a businesswoman.
And Sarah was Jessie's mother.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now my dad on the other side, He came from Kemper County,
Okay.
Scuba, Mississippi. I don't know if you can remember this, Hope. Back in the day, there was a plant called Mingles.
I don't know.
Then it was called U.S. Plywood.
Okay.
Well, my daddy worked at Mingles.
Where was that?
It's not too right
Here.
across from Thomas Pharmacy. What street is that?
Here in Jones County?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The plant is not in operation.
So that's where your
now.
dad worked?
That's my dad, and then he worked at Masonite also.
Okay. What was his name?
John. He did a lot of work in the business. You know, even when he got off of work and on Saturday and stuff, he would all go wait because we had a cafe and a restaurant.
Yeah.
So people were coming in buying them a little.
So like a
beer
grocery
and stuff.
store
Yeah,
and.
yeah.
Okay.
You got to realize when I was born in the 40s.
Uh-huh.
So the 30s and then the 40s, and it was segregated.
Right.
And I heard, I can't remember, Hope, but I wish I could remember to tell you when I found out my grandmother was a bootlegger.
Back in the day. What?
Yeah,
Was
that's
she
what they did.
was she the middleman? Like she would get it like
I don't know. We tried to figure it out, but I never did because my aunt told me if my grandmama knew what I was asking her business, she'll kill me. See, back in the day, adults didn't talk around kids.
right, yeah.
So my dad and my mama, when they had grown people's conversation, we were not involved like kids are now.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think we had any opinions. I'm serious.
That's okay.
It's cut and dry what mom and dad say it went. So I had a wonderful family, mom and dad, and people loved my mama, and they was okay with my dad. But just the fact that we had a mom and dad in the house. So my mom died when I was 21 years old.
Oh wow.
And she had been married to my daddy for 25 years.
Okay.
She married when she was 16. She told me, my grandmama said she had to sign. She had to sign for my mama to get married.
Wow.
Yeah, she was a wonderful mom, and my daddy was a wonderful man, and he provided good for us.
So if you were 21 years old when your mother passed and you were the oldest, so there were some young children still in the home.
Yes.
When your mother.
Yes.
So did you kind of have to step in?
You know, I had to step in a lot to help my grandmother out.
Or did she step in?
She stepped in. She was always a part of the taking care of and stuff like that. And I go back to me being a girl. By me being her first grandchild and a granddaughter, that's the reason why she had me around her, and I got to be a part of her.
So not only were you the first granddaughter, you were the first grandchild.
Yes.
So that's a big deal.
On both sides. On both sides.
Well, they couldn't tell you nothing then, huh? You were.
No, they could. I was a little sassy, but I paid attention. And I saw my grandmama doing a lot of stuff, and I couldn't figure it out what all she was doing. I saw her cooking. She cut a meat, hook cheese, and bologna. She had a meat thing in there. Mama is the most interesting person that I've ever met. She was a stern business person.
Now, was your grandfather around, or was she a widow?
Dad, she was married.
Okay.
My granddad worked down in Masonite.
But she ran.
When my grandmother and everybody in my family look at me and they say you just like grandma.
Okay.
When she decided that she used to do hair, she worked at a plant called the canning plant. Have you ever heard of the canning plant? That might be before your time. And so she said, well, I got 8 kids and 7 grandkids. I need to do something, try to get some income. He said, nope, Sarah. He called her Sarah. Nope, Sarah, I don't want to do it. She said, well, you might not want to do it, but I'm going to need you to sign something.
He said he had a job already, huh?
And so, you know, a husband and wife had to sign. He signed. And he didn't work. He really didn't do anything in the business. So he didn't know none of mama's business. And after we grew up, he told one of his daughters, said, Sarah won't half of my check, but I don't know what she got. That was something.
So was Jessie the oldest?
She was the oldest.
She
of
was
family.
Sarah's older. She was Sarah's
And
oldest.
John was my grandmama Pearl oldest. Isn't that something?
Wow. So you're the product of two firstborns,
Yes.
huh? Okay.
Yes.
And you are the firstborn as well.
Yes.
So losing your mom, was that sort of a turning point for everyone in the family? Did
Yes,
it sort of
that
change?
was the most devastating time still in my life.
Can I ask what happened?
We thought Mama had asthma, but in the latter part of her life, I'll say 4 or 5 years before she passed, she had a heart problem. And it was an enlarged heart.
Yeah.
And me, there I go with my thinking cap on. I said, Mama had too many babies. I said, my mama had all them babies. But that wasn't the truth. It was just her time to go. That was the first time that I had to go. My grandmama took me to a doctor, I don't know if it was a psychiatrist or what, to talk about it. All of my hair came out and I went down to 80 pounds. But by her being the oldest sister and the sister that did nothing wrong, it was hard on her children and her sibling and my dad's sibling. We were all close.
And your mom was young.
39.
So I'm 39 right now.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'll be 40 this year.
Every year I reach another year, I let Mama know I made it for us. Mama, I made it. My grandmother died when she was 72.
Wow.
She had a heart attack talking on the phone. Yeah. My mom didn't suffer either. She went in the hospital one day and she was gone the next day, you know.
Now, were you still at home when that happened?
No. I was in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
That's where I went to college, at Bishop College.
Okay. So that kind of leads me, tell me about your education experience.
Okay. Let me go back.
Okay.
I graduated from Bishop College.
So where did you go to elementary school, though, here in
Sandy Gavin Elementary School.
Sandy Gavin? I've never heard that name
It's
before.
right in front of my church.
Okay.
That's South, what street is that? South
In front of St. Elmo's? Is it still? Is the building still there?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it is.
Okay, Sandy Gavin.
Pam, is Sandy Gavin still up? Well, she said something over there. Okay.
Okay, but it's always been called that. Okay.
Sandy Gavin Elementary.
Okay, so that's where you went to elementary school. Okay. Ma'am.
Oh,
it's a Head Start. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
So after that, that was probably what, through 6th grade, probably.
Then I went to Oak Park High.
Oh, okay.
From 7th through 12.
Okay, so you graduated from Oak Park.
In 1966.
Okay.
Yeah. And during that time, it was a lot of famous people going to Oak Park. Ralph Boston, Leontine Price.
That's right. Pearl.
Huh?
Pearl.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that senior year, though, was it integrated or it was still a segregated
Segregated.
Okay.
Wait, let me ask another question. Hope you can
You
cut
go
this
ahead.
out. Bruh, were you the first one that went to Watkins or was Charles? He was the first one to go to Watkins.
So what year would he have graduated then?
What year? 71. The first
71.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
To go to R.H. Watkins.
Okay, so 1966, you finished at Oak Park. What was that? What was Oak Park like back in
We
1960s?
was the school. We was the prime.
Because what's the
school it
mascot?
was. A dragon.
Dragon, yeah. Blue, right?
Yeah,
That's the color?
blue and white,
Yeah.
yes. And we had one of the best football teams that it was.
Yeah.
And our rival was Rowan and Hattiesburg.
Okay, so Oak Park, were you involved in, were you a cheerleader?
I was in the dramatic club. I always wanted to act, but I don't think I could have. You know, I admired everyone who had a talent. Like singing, ballet, and acting, and playing an instrument, and if I had been a child who was really obedient, I would know how to play the piano.
Me too.
I
Me
did
too.
take piano lessons, but Miss Murphy would hit us on our hand with a pencil, and that turned me away. I hate it though. You took piano lesson too.
I did, and I didn't take it seriously. My mama plays in the church, and
My mama played in the church.
we got a lot in common.
Yes, we do, honey.
Yeah, I took lessons. I didn't care about it, but now I wish I had.
Me too.
So, and I even have a piano, and I can do a little bit, but not like my mama. She can sit down and play anything.
Yeah.
So, well, Miss Pearl, let me just ask you then. You grew up in a time like your childhood was, you experienced segregation.
Oh, absolutely.
So, what was your looking back? Like, what is your perspective on all that?
Looking back, Hope, my age, I really wanted to put it out there, my experience in my life back then and here now. There were a lot of people that dressed up. I was professional. Because then your teachers dressed up. They put the nylon, they dressed up every day at school like they were going to church. They wasn't casual and down like that. So we had the teachers, then we had our own black dentist. We had our own doctor, Dr. Nade. We had our own hairstylist. My brother and them went to a black barber. We had our own everything. So I thought that's the way it's supposed to be. You know, but once I got up and realized, and my daddy told, only time we could come downtown if my parents or my grandparents would bring us down here. And I came down here and found out it was all white. I asked my mama one time, I said, why everybody, you know? And she explained a little to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I had a great life.
Yeah.
I have to say that. The people who I met when I say I'm from Mississippi, they can't believe, oh, did you pick cotton? I never picked cotton. I wanted to go pick cotton. But my mom wouldn't let me get on that. A truck used to come by. I'm serious.
No, I'm just laughing because you know what? My grandfather grew up in the county, and he picked cotton.
Yeah, my dad
he was
cotton.
a sharecropper. Like, that's what my grandparents did. I mean, so
I missed that. I wanted to go just to see how they pick cotton. My mama told me, you have to put it in a bag and you got to weigh something to get paid. And so you're not going to be able to fill the bag.
Had your mama probably, you think they would have picked cotton? Or they always lived in town?
They always lived in town. My daddy was the rural family.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because Kemper County would have been like, I mean, that
Hogs,
is,
cows, and
I mean, that is
outdoor facilities.
That is
we never had outdoor facility here.
That's what I was going to ask you too, because a lot of people I talk to who are older, they remember when they got indoor plumbing, they remember when they got electricity, but a lot of them lived out in the county, in rural areas. But like, if you were living in town, did you guys always have electricity and indoor plumbing?
But I think some people, I can't call this little community, London, you might. They had outdoor facilities.
Here in town?
Yes.
Okay.
I could explain.
Maybe we'll think of it, yeah.
I'm going to call my friend before you leave and tell you.
Yeah.
And London probably
because a lot of my grandparents, they remember like going and using the outhouse.
I was shocked when they told me they had outdoor facilities, because we had outdoor.
Yeah, or pumping water from a well, you know, my grandfather.
Now, we didn't have none of that. That's all with my grandparents on my daddy's side.
Right.
Grandma and grandpa on my
So the
dad's
location really had a lot to do with that. Like the fact that you guys were living here in town.
Absolutely.
You had access to.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that.
Yeah.
But I also, well, I didn't know nobody without in it. But by my grandmother being a businesswoman, you know, she was in on the first.
Yeah, exactly.
Of everything. But she never, my mama now didn't even have outdoors. I don't know, Mama them might have.
When your
But
grandmother.
I know my daddy did.
Yeah. Well, if he was in Kemper County, I'm sure,
Yeah,
like you
he
said.
did.
There's probably more cows than people up there.
Horses, cows, goats, pigs. And I was scared of all of them.
Well, It's probably good to have a healthy fear of that.
Yeah, I was scared of all of them. My mama said, you better get
You
it
were
together.
a city girl then, weren't you?
I don't know what I was, but I didn't like up there with all them chickens and hogs and cows and horses and stuff.
Well, tell me about Mama's store. So where was it located?
It was located at 840 South 8th Avenue,
Okay.
where her home was 840 and the cafe was 841.
So she lived
Right next to,
Next
it was
door.
joined on. Mm-hmm.
You know what? This is so crazy. My great-great-grandmother and her husband owned a mercantile or a general store in Wayne County, and they lived
Oh my God,
behind it.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And this is Burton Jewelry. My mama got my class ring from here.
My daddy brought me in here and bought me, he thought everybody had to have a Seiko watch when they graduated high school.
Yeah.
And my daddy brought me in here and bought me a Seiko watch for my graduation.
That's
But
fun, yeah.
so now you're selling.
Let me tell you
Some
what,
valuable things, too.
Yes, let me tell you what Mr. Burton told me. And I had never thought of it. He would always bring their daughters in to have lunch with them from Texas.
Yeah.
So he called me one day. I was sitting over there talking to a customer. He said, Miss Pearl, come here. He said, I never dreamed that I would have a pearl in here selling black-eyed peas. He said, I've sold a lot of diamonds, rubies, everything, opals and everything. He said, now I got a pearl in here selling black-eyed peas, and they sure are good.
That's awesome.
That made me feel so good.
Exactly. You brought life back into it. For
Yes,
sure.
yes. And another thing, Hope, you don't have to put this on the thing.
No.
I've been received very well
Oh yeah.
since I've been back.
Mhm.
And I really, really wanted to write a book to explain my experience. When I grew up, I was on one side of the track, but coming back in 2015 to
Yeah.
getting the business in
Yeah.
2017, I live on the other side of the track. It's a lot of people that was kind of intrigued about me, I think, because I worked hard. They saw me work hard, and they didn't know actually what was going to come out of this. A dentist told me, he said, Miss Pearl. I said, yeah. He said, you ever been to New York? I said, sure, I've been to New York. He said, you see the Empire State Building? I said, come on now, Doctor. He said, you are the Empire State Building in Laurel, Mississippi. I said, what? He said, they can't miss you. I am so blessed
Yeah.
that the owner of this gave me a chance
That's right.
to have a diner here. And the journey I've been on hadn't been easy, but it's been so rewarding.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's done with us yet. It's
That's
something
right.
else he might want us to do. I don't know if it's a cooking show or
Yeah.
you going to do something. Well, I don't know. This just for your grade. You're not going to do this anymore.
I'll publish
Podcast.
this. Like I have like
Podcast.
yeah, it's like a show.
Uh-huh.
So it'll be out there.
I would love to do. Did Linda tell you I wanted to do a podcast?
Yeah, that's what we discussed. Yeah, my podcast is just interviewing people. You know, I just talk
like
to people.
this. And
I have
the
no
thing
agenda.
that went so well when Hometown did my household was, and the producer and all of them said, the reason why they love you, you were so natural. Say they could tell this.
Yeah.
This is who you are. And so many of them have come in here and did me like this. So,
I see y'all later.
okay. Miss Pearl, you just like you were on this show. I said, well, how was I supposed to be?
That says a lot.
Okay, see you, baby. Said, you know, people on TV, they read scripts and all of that, but that's not what Hometown don't give you a script. You
Right,
just
yeah.
got to be you. I'm so happy to hear that our series was the highest.
Really?
It was over 3 million people.
That's awesome.
So that was God's way of introducing me to
Yeah.
the world. I was known locally. Then he said, I'm gonna introduce you to a lot of people.
That's awesome.
It has been someone from every state in the United States walk through those doors in 8 countries including missionary from Ukraine.
So if folks are coming to either passing through Laurel or coming to Laurel, they're making the effort to
This
find.
is a must-stop point.
Yeah.
And I say that very humbly. And I say that because that's what my customers tell me. Miss Pearl, we was on the way to New Orleans, away going to graduation. Now a lot of them are telling me that, and also a lot of them say they Google where a restaurant is in Laurel, and mine will always pop up.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, so can we get back to Sarah and talk about, what was the name of her store? Duncan's? Okay, and that was her last name. So what all happened in there? She had a cafe?
She had everything.
Breakfast,
well,
lunch?
Mama sold breakfast. She sold breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And just like you said, that these people were in there. Then we had the counter where we sold canned goods like potted meat, sardines, and she sold everything. Then we had the pickle jars and the pig feet jars and Mama used to have Rice's potato chips, and those were some good potato chips.
Yeah.
Back in my time, it was Rice's potato chips.
Yeah.
Now it's Lay's potato chips.
Okay.
She sold Jack's beer, false beer.
So it was like a package store as well.
I guess it was a one-stop home with Mama. She had some of everything.
And she sold to just the community. I mean, like, I know we talked about this was a time when things were segregated. So was it
But
mostly...
then the blacks that like me down here, they would hear about Sarah's place.
Yeah.
They would try to come down there.
Yeah. Did any white folks ever come in there, or...
No.
Okay.
But all of her vendors were white.
Right. I mean, so they would come in, like, make deliveries
and then all
and
the
stuff?
people who she, dealt with.
Yeah.
No, it was.
Did she ever talk about, like, the way she was, as far as dealing with vendors and things? Did people...
No, I got to be honest with you, Hope. Just like I just told you. White folks respected Sarah Duncan.
That's what I'm saying. She never got, okay.
It wasn't nothing she couldn't come downtown and get. And they trusted her so much. Computer wasn't a thing. If Sarah called and told them to get Hope a car, you had it.
Okay.
She had just that much respect.
So folks listened to her, and they respected her as a businesswoman.
Yes.
Regardless.
Yes. Yes.
That's awesome, though. I mean,
it is, and this is really segregated.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you about the high points. They respected Mama.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, I've never been subjected to racism. I told my folks, they thought, you sure? And I said, no, I can't say that, Hope, that somebody did to me and it was a racial act. I'm not going to lie on it, and that didn't happen. No. I don't know if we were kept close to home or...
Well, it sounds like you had a good family.
Yeah, it could have been that.
That goes a long way.
And you know what? Now that I think about it, we never discussed race. We never... My parents never sit down with us and talked about race, white and black. Never.
Was it ever something, what about at Oak Park, like in high school? Was it something that was really addressed, or,
we never talked about that. We were happy being where we were. It was such a popular and productive school.
Yeah.
And the educators there, they were great.
Yeah, and they were, like you said, professionals. They knew what they were doing.
Yes. And that was the thing, like when I was a child, growing up as a, toddler, and then a little 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
All I saw was black people doing good. I didn't know the difference then. I thought it was supposed to be
So
like
you had
that.
really wonderful examples.
I had very
in front of you. So so you graduated from Oak Park. Did you ever, was college always the plan, or was that your family had always?
Yes, because my grandmother had 8 kids. Let me see, my Uncle Doug was a teacher, my Aunt Frank was a teacher, Aunt Shirley was a teacher. It was 3 teachers. One of my uncles went to the Navy, and when he said a picture, I guess he was I don't know what it was. He was the only little black on the picture. He went to the Navy. One of her children went to the Navy.
This is Sarah's children?
All of her children did.
Was Sarah educated? How far?
Went to the 11th grade.
That's awesome, though.
But could teach you like she had a master's.
Uh-huh.
Let me see. My mom was on the housewife.
But she had gone to school and graduated
Yeah,
high school.
she graduated high school. That's it. And the rest of her siblings, they went to college. That was something you had to do, was go to school, go to college.
So how did you decide where you were going?
I got a scholarship to Bishop College. I had never heard of it. I'm going to tell you this. I wanted to get out from down here where
you were ready to go?
Everybody knew us. I wanted to go.
Because what was your maiden name? What was your family name?
I went back to my maiden name. I've been married twice.
Oh, okay.
My maiden name was Campbell.
Campbell. Okay, so
I
you
went
were
back
from
to
the Campbell. Okay,
yeah.
so everybody knew the Campbells.
Yeah, and my husband asked me, one of the worst husband asked me, why you want to go back to your maiden name? I said, because Cobra wasn't good to me.
Well, I'll be honest with you.
My dad was always good to me, so I'm going to carry his name.
I never even knew what your last name was. I just always knew
Campbell.
Miss Pearl.
Yeah,
okay.
Campbell. And you know what else, Hope? The reason everybody called me Miss Pearl, that's what Aaron and Ben called me. Let's think about it on the show. Because I was saying some people I know were older than me, but everybody calls me Miss Pearl. And I'm enjoying it. I don't have no problem with it. But then I thought, where did they get that name from? From Ben and Aaron. They called me Miss Pearl on the show.
Well, and I love that. It makes me reminiscent of my childhood because I grew up across the street. I had a neighbor across the street, and her name was Miss Pearl.
Oh.
And her sister lived beside her, and her name was Opal.
You are kidding me. 2 jewels.
Pearl, yeah, and they were my neighbors. And Miss Pearl, she would take me to church sometimes when my mom couldn't. Like, my parents took me to church, but Miss Pearl would help my mom out, or we'd go borrow a cup of sugar from Miss Pearl.
Ooh, those days over.
Yeah. And she was funny. We didn't have a subscription to the paper, but she did, and so she would read the paper and then give it to us the next day.
Wonderful.
You know, so but Miss Pearl was always a wonderful
person.
memory. Yes.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I love your name,
Well, I'm named after my dad's mom. Her name is Pearl.
Pearl. It's a
We
great
call her
name.
grandma. We call my mama's mom.
Yeah.
Mama.
I love it. Okay, so back to Bishop College. So what was the scholarship for? What did they recruit you for? Academics?
Academic.
Okay.
And it was some real good years.
Is that a small school?
It was a Christian school.
Okay.
It was good experience, but I got pregnant when I was in college.
Okay.
And believe it or not, I didn't lose my scholarship. I knew my dad was going to kill me if I lost the scholarship. And back in the day, I was real thin and stuff. So I really didn't, you put a girl on, wasn't exposed. So I came home, had the child, did what I had to do. My mom and dad took the baby, and I went on back to school.
Would the school have asked you to leave if they had found out you were pregnant?
I think so.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a historically black college? Or okay.
Yeah.
But it was a men and women's. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you had a baby. What year was that?
I had a baby in '69.
Okay. So was that what year of
That
school?
my 3rd year, going into my 3rd year.
So your parents helped you out, huh?
Oh yeah, my dad told me I better not get another one.
It's good advice if you want to finish college. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was an experience too, because I believe if my mother had lived, my children would have been closer to her than me, because I was trying to get my life together and education and stuff. Yeah, but they were little when she died.
So you finished at Bishop, and then what happened after that?
I came home.
So you did not marry at that point. Okay, you came back to Laurel,
and right after then, my mom died, so I stayed here. I went up to Myers. Mama was living when I was at Myers. But after Mama died, my children lived, and I came back to help my dad and to help my grandmama out in the cafe as much as I could. My dad married the next year after my mom died, so that was another thing that almost blew me away. So that's the reason why the siblings and our grandmamas, we were like that. It
Did
was
you guys go live with her, or you stayed with your
no.
daddy?
We young adults then. I had another brother hadn't finished college. He went to Mississippi State. He graduated right after Mama had passed.
That's where I went.
Yeah.
That's where I went to. I went to Mississippi State. So, what was the relationship like between your grandmother and your dad? Like, kind of
Just like he was her son.
Okay, because they had to work together, huh, to help with the kids.
I look at it now, and everybody in my family tell you I've never seen what in-laws got along like my mama's sister and brother and my daddy's sister and brother. You would have thought all of them were sisters and brothers. Had a great relationship.
That's amazing because not everyone can say that. And I mean, with your mom being gone, that was a big gap that had to be filled.
And it took a toll on both sides of the family.
Okay. So after that, tell me what kind of happened with life once you...
I'm trying to think, when did I leave Laurel? 70. Greg could tell you. Because when I first left Laurel, I left with another classmate of mine that went to Bishop. And we were going to Memphis to see if we can get a job up there.
Okay. What was your degree in? Did you...
Business administration.
Okay, you stayed with that. Okay.
Mama kept the kids. She wouldn't let me.
You had two children. Okay.
She would. I tell you that I had the best parents and grandparents. I just had a great support system. So she said, once you see if you're gonna get the job and get settled and all of that, then you can come and get the kids. Something happened to me during the summer. We waiting and filling out application at the different schools. It was a plant that brewed beer, Slicks beer, out of Milwaukee. The young lady who we went to stay with, her brother, told us one day, said, y'all hadn't heard from the school, don't know what to say. Said, why don't you go out there and apply for a job in the summer for Slicks Brewery?
This was in Memphis, okay.
Yeah. I left here and went to Memphis. We said, bro, he said, yeah, where they brew beer. I said, we don't know nothing about that. He said, they'll train. He said, they pay good. Hope I went we went out of the three of us, I got hired.
Not the other two?
They didn't get hired. Then, after the summer was over, they were going to select some of the summer employees for permanent. I was selected. I called my grandmama. I told her when I got my check, I said, Mama, I believe these people overpaid me. My check's so big. She said, overall, they don't pay. The breweries pay great salaries. I don't know if they still have. Budweiser is the number one now.
Really?
Miller's was the number 2, which has always been, and Slicks was the number 3. But here's the deal with the breweries with Slicks. It was a family. Well, Coors Brewer is a family too. They finally came out. But Slick sold out to Stroh's.
Okay.
And then Stroh's sold out to Coors. When Coors came in 1980, 88, 89, early then, they shut the plant down for a while and did $90 million of renovation.
Wow.
So I got caught in that downside. I had planned what I was going to do next, and they matched our 401k. I think I was I had to be making about $50,000 a year.
What were you doing for them?
I worked in quality control.
Okay.
And I had a white jacket on and a hard hat and steel-toe shoes. And my grandmama liked to have a fit. She said, you didn't go to school to be in no beer factory. I said, Mama, I'm not going to walk away from this salary, which she finally saw what I was saying. Things start changing, and like I said, family selling that. So when they sold the Coors, that's when. But let me tell you something about Coors. When I tell you I've had some great experience, Mr. Peter Cruz came and walked through the plant. You would have never known who he was, Hope. He was dressed casual and stuff. And at that particular time, we was on first name basis. So when Peter was walking through there, people were saying, Mr. Cruz. He said, I'm Peter. He said, I just want you all to know. I won't say, well, why I got laid off. That was right before I left. Our family wouldn't be where we are now if it wasn't for people like you all. That stuck to me. That never left me when that man told me that. And he's a billionaire. You know the Coors.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they're in Golden, Colorado.
Maybe
they out
so.
there somewhere.
Yeah, I was going to say out west somewhere.
In Colorado somewhere.
Yeah. That's such an interesting start to your, like, professional career. Okay. So then after that, what happened?
After that went down, and I had planned my retirement and what I was going to do.
So you were happy to stay there and just work your way up the
honey,
organization.
Please.
Yeah.
We got paid every week. After 30 days, you got top pay. It was no, it was cross training. So I don't care if you were there 10 years. I come in and go get my 30 days. I made what you made.
And they didn't care, like, the fact that you were a woman, like, they,
No, they had Teamster Union. They had unionized the police before I went there. So we didn't have no problems with that. And how I left that was I had a brother in Cleveland, Ohio, who had bone cancer. I want you to just listen. I've always taken care of people, and I guess I'm so busy taking care of people, I ain't never let nobody take care of me.
Right.
My brother had bone cancer, and my dad called and told me that I was his right hand, that he wanted me to go. I went up there, and I was talking in front of my cousin, who was president of the board in East Cleveland School District. He said, I can get you a job, Pearl. You don't have to go back. I can get you a job. And my brother heard it. He said, David, you really can get her a job? He said, yeah, I can get her a job. And so I ended up staying in Cleveland. My brother died. I get the dates messed up. Hope. He died. I was there at least 3 years before he died.
Okay. So that'd still be in the 70s probably?
No, this in the 90s, baby.
Oh, okay.
You remember the 80s was Memphis now.
Okay.
And the brewery.
So how long were you in the brewery then? I think I didn't realize how long.
I was in the brewery almost 14 years.
Okay, I was thinking that was a shorter
time. No.
Okay. I don't think I realized that was 14 years.
That was when I thought I was halfway rich.
I got you. So really Memphis was home for a while.
Yes, and I had a nice home, which I had to leave because I hadn't been in the house no more than 5 years, and I couldn't afford to pay the notes.
I think I missed that you were there significant amount. Okay. 14 years. Did you love Memphis, living in Memphis?
I did at that time. Now, my baby's in Memphis. I don't like it now. I think they say Jackson, Mississippi, Memphis, Tennessee, they bad now. Yeah. They got to have a lot of killing and stuff.
Yeah,
I really wish my granddaughters would leave, but you know how that is.
So let me ask you a question. I usually ask all of my guests this, especially since you lived in Memphis. I always wonder, being from the South, what is your memory or experience with Elvis Presley?
Ooh, Mama loved Elvis Presley.
Your mama
My
did?
grandma.
Oh, Sarah did?
She loved Elvis Presley.
Okay.
Whenever Mama came, we had to go out there and tour. The airplane, Lisa Marie was the airplane, I think.
So she would come visit you?
Who?
Sarah? You talking about? Okay, so she would come to Memphis.
Yes,
okay.
I'd come down here and get her.
Oh, okay.
And she planted flowers and everything. My Darren Gregg loved her.
So y'all would go to Graceland?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I've been there one time and it was amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing letting you see all the tourists go by.
Tried.
We have toured everything that they had in Graceland. Cause we had to take Mama.
So y'all been multiple times, huh? Y'all would go?
Oh, yes.
I love that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
You know, I did not know until the end of the tour of Graceland that he was buried there.
Yes.
I was so crazy.
Yes.
I got to the end and I'm like, I cried like a baby.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just, Anyway.
He died too early.
He was
died
so
too
young,
early,
42
yeah.
years
He
old.
died too early. Uh-huh.
So
And
Sarah.
it was good. And I love saying I was from Memphis because of Elvis.
That's right. So y'all would listen to Elvis's music, though, growing up?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mama played in the cafe.
That's awesome.
About the shoes, that blue suede
Blue
shoes.
suede
and
shoes,
stuff.
yeah.
My grandmama loved Elvis Presley.
Everybody from the South, I'm telling you, this is my theory, and I'm gradually proving my theory.
Okay.
Everyone has an Elvis story.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes.
Actually, I had an aunt that worked in a cafe in Sandersville on Highway 11.
Yeah.
And when Elvis was driving a truck, she swears, she would like put her hand on the Bible, that he came through that cafe and like she served him a meal. It was when in the 50s when he was driving a truck. And she met Elvis Presley. That's like our family story.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you about my family story. Ike and Tina came right down to the Skylark in Laurel, Mississippi.
What?
Right down there.
Did they perform or like?
Oh yes, it was a Skylark club down in all the way down Queensboro Avenue or something. I'm gonna show you one day. People did not really believe. I saw Ike and Tina back in the day.
You went?
Yeah, I went. Oh, yes.
Wow. That is so
And that
cool.
was during the time too when he was beating her, because right before they left, I think a little something happened.
Wow.
Yeah, Ike and Tina been right here in Laurel, Mississippi.
I did not know that.
And then Leontine Price is from Laurel,
Yeah.
Mississippi.
Oh, yeah.
Who else famous? Ralph Boston is from Laurel, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of nobody. You can think of anybody else?
No. I'm going to pretend like Elvis came to Laurel. I'm sure he did at some point, right?
Girl, don't have my grandmama get out of that grave.
He's bound to. I think he came through Sandersville, supposedly, so surely he came through Laurel.
Yeah,
Okay.
people loved him.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so
I hope people love me like they did
Me
Elvis.
too.
Good memories.
I mean, always.
Great memories.
Everybody's going to have a Miss Pearl story. This will be mine today.
Okay.
All right, so after Memphis, you ended up in Cleveland, you said. And how long were you in Cleveland?
I was just listening at the journey that I've been on. And on this journey, I haven't quite figured out really all what God wanted me to do. After Cleveland, my brother that was standing over there, his wife had cancer.
Wow.
And I went over to help him until she passed. I came here from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay, so
I also had a restaurant in Indianapolis,
What?
Pearl Southern Food, my brother and I. But we didn't have the capital
Yeah.
to remain.
Wow.
So after Indianapolis,
Back to Laurel. Okay, that would have been...
and then I had another brother, John. Wife worked at the Social Security office.
Nope, that's okay.
Came home, 34 years. Came home and fell dead in the kitchen. He come in, he thinks she trying to scare the baby. Again, I had to go down there and be with him.
Where was this? Where was that?
Houston, Texas.
Wow.
So getting up in age,
Mm-hmm.
still looking for the reason why the
Yeah.
journeys that I've been on. I think this destination right here, the last destination, and being in this business, this is where he was preparing me to come back home to do. Like I said, the good outweigh the bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful. I've met so many wonderful people. I've met so many loving and kind people. Hope I didn't know nothing about no souvenirs. My customer said, "Where your souvenirs, Miss Pearl?" Really?
They wanted a shirt or
They
a hat?
wanted something with Pearl on there.
Can you believe that? Is that crazy?
No, I could never believe that. It's awesome, but if my name on it, it might sell. That's a good feeling, Hope. That means I'm doing something right.
Something to be proud of, yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. So I've met so many people. I've hugged, kissed, cried, prayed
Right here?
right here.
Well, so when you came back, really was opening a restaurant on your mind, or you just were kind of open to?
Well, I had a girlfriend. She loved to cook, and I loved to
Because
cook.
what year was this?
17.
Okay,
No, when I came back, 2015.
2015. Okay.
And she loved to bake, and I loved to cook.
So you came home just because you felt like that was the
My
right.
dad asked me to come back home.
Oh, okay.
Remember
Your
that?
daddy. Okay.
And it's a customer came in here and sent me a plaque, Jeremiah 29:11, and was telling me, Miss Pearl, you were obedient. This is what God had for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad, I didn't want to come back. My dad wanted me to come back. And this is what Daddy told me. Why don't you come home into where we can enjoy each other?
Right.
You're not married, you don't have any kids, until it's time for you to come see about me when I'm sick. That's how I got back to Laurel. He was so proud of this, Dinah. He was so proud.
So he was able to come here? Wow.
And he always told me, he called me Pull. He said, Pull, your daddy sure wish he was younger. I sure would help you in that restaurant. Yeah.
Sounds like a really great dad. Huh?
He-
Very
he
encouraging.
was.
So he was able to see this.
He was able to see it.
Wow. Well, sometimes it's really good to listen to your dad, huh? And do what your dad tells you, huh? 'Cause-
Well, I have no complaints all the way around
yeah.
with the parents, the grandparents,
Yeah.
and nothing. I've had great experiences with who God put me
Yeah.
on as parents.
So 2015, you're here. What year did Pearls
17.
officially open? Okay.
September
so it took a couple
17.
years.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, it took them a long time. They had to. It wasn't. They had to do a lot of construction work.
I remember sort of like watching
Yeah.
all of this
Yes,
transform,
yes,
and
yes.
but they kind of always knew it was going to be a diner from the get go, or
No,
I
they
don't
didn't
know.
know. They didn't know.
or they had already
came up with that.
they had already started renovating the
No,
building.
but they hadn't done all of this.
They didn't know that what was going on.
The owner set everything up to be a diner.
Oh, okay. Oh, and
He
then
said he had wondered what he was going to do with this spot, Berger. So once he met me and I told him my dreams,
yeah.
he made it into a diner.
So, what was the first meal cooked here?
Oh, girl, hope everything. Mac and cheese, fried chicken,
Did it?
hamburger steak. We just cooked so much stuff.
Did y'all have to-
because we had an open house.
Okay.
What else? A soft opening.
Had a soft opening. So, did it take you a while to get your menu set, or you pretty much knew what you wanted to serve, or was it like trial and error?
I knew what I wanted to prepare, but it's been time to what I planned. I know a long, large pan should feed 50 people.
Right.
I go by that. But how about now we have to make 4 large pans of mac and cheese
Every day.
every day. If we see where the traffic not flowing, we got to do at least 3. And let me tell you how we do, and that was a good idea, Josh. Do you see the magnet board up there?
Yes, ma'am.
The reason why that's up there, I want to sell out.
You can peel off.
Pull
what's
off that,
gone.
and then they'll buy the other
Yeah,
choices
they know what
that I have.
they know what they have.
Now, another thing that I try to have every day is the fried chicken, rice and gravy. Black eyed peas is a great seller.
That's my favorite. Collard greens.
Collard greens, not a lot of people favorite. We don't cook
love
them
them.
because that's a lot of labor.
People don't want. They don't.
Yeah,
like-
they love it, but it's a lot of.
So that sells out quick, huh?
Yes.
Okay. So what's the top? What goes so I see mac and cheese, collard greens, fried green tomatoes, rice and gravy, black eyed peas. I'm reading this off Miss Pearl's
And
menu.
today, my sister told me she sold out all of her fried green tomatoes and all of her mac and cheese.
Wow.
It was a bus coming here today, and so they
Yeah.
were pretty busy.
And then fried chicken, chicken tenders, ribs. Oh, that sounds good. And
Oh,
pork
shoot,
chops.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you. Oh, I'm looking at the menu. I got to call and ask them, tell them I needed some ribs for tomorrow.
So I guess have you ever had anything on your menu that you've had to kind of like nix that maybe didn't go over so well, or have you pretty much had it set from the beginning? Like, are there any sides that haven't done well for you?
Yes, there have been sides that the chicken spaghetti goes well sometimes.
Yeah.
my mains go well all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I told you rice and gravy, black eyed peas, mac and cheese, fried chicken.
You do fried
I
okra?
do, yeah, fried okra goes well when we have them. Fried green tomato goes well.
Oh, I bet.
But they in season, they be, they
Yeah.
grow 'em.
So it's not always on
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
What about like sweet potato casserole or anything
Oh,
like
yeah,
that?
it go fast too. We have baked sweet potato or candy yams all the time in
Okay.
the casserole.
And you do cornbread?
Oh, man, yeah.
Do you do jalapeno cornbread too, or just
Yes.
regular? Okay, yeah, that's what I like. I'm about to come in here. I haven't been here in a
got
while.
to.
You know what though? I'm a local, so like, there's always a line, and I'm like,
Well,
look at that restaurant going.
Linda and I have thought about it. She would love to be able to get some of the locals back because I have to honestly say, Hope, she's
And I've
my
been-
witness. Before that hometown, I had the locals.
Yeah, it's just tough, I
The
mean.
judges, the legal people, the president of the banks. I had a lot of
Yeah.
that was in here. And that's understandable, like you said. They got scheduled lunches.
Yeah.
The tourists on vacation, they'll
Yeah.
sit out there and they wait.
I think people are proud for you though. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
I just kind of observe it. I'm just like, that is amazing.
Let me tell you what. I had judges
Mm-hmm.
and attorneys sit right on the stool. They like sitting there because,
Holding
see,
court.
I be in and out, and I would say that they like talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so one day they were talking, they said, Miss Pearl, I said, huh? Said, we don't think you know you famous. I said, I'm famous? They said, yes. I said, oh, okay. They said, we've been watching things. Said, when the hometown show first came on, of course, they wanted to know where Ben and Aaron in the mercantile. I said, yeah. Said, now, Miss Pearl, they want to know what Ben and Aaron is.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Pearl and to eat at Pearl's Diner.
It's on the,
Oh, hope that made me feel so good.
that's like a top thing to do now. It's a destination.
That just really made me feel good because we have to be doing right.
Oh yeah.
We're not perfect. We still get good reviews, don't we, Linda? We still got the consistency.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize consistency matters. They can't come in here one day and get black eyed peas and come the next and it's like red beans or something.
It better-
like that.
yeah.
That'll shut you down.
Yeah, that's right.
Banana pudding as a dessert. I don't care what other desserts I have. Number one.
Banana pudding's
banana
always, and I see Miss Pearl's cheesecake.
Uh-huh.
What
Yeah.
do you just do plain?
Regular.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then what's your other? That's your two main desserts?
Yes.
I had a thought I was going to ask you about, and I can't remember now. Oh, so Miss Pearl, if you had to get in the kitchen, this is my question.
Mhm.
What is your favorite meal to prepare? What do you love to cook?
Okay, and I'm gonna tell you one of my. I'm gonna put the meal to what I like to eat together.
Yeah.
I would have meatloaf. I would have mashed potatoes and gravy. I would have green beans and rolls.
Sounds like a good meal.
That's what I would go in there and cook.
Okay.
And I can cook that with my eyes closed. Yeah.
And meatloaf, you guys serve meatloaf?
Oh, absolutely.
On the regular? Okay.
Every Thursday.
Okay.
Every Thursday.
So that's your favorite meal.
That's the favorite meal, like you
to
said.
prepare.
I got a lot of them, but that's a simple one.
Mm-hmm. And it's a crowd pleaser, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's that. It's a.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Now, the greens are crowd pleaser too. But you said if I went in the kitchen right
Yeah,
quick.
what's your favorite meal to prepare?
Yeah.
Do you have what about dessert? Is there a certain dessert you love to prepare?
Yes. I love to make a pound cake, which I hadn't made in a while.
Ooh.
Lemon meringue pie. We once had some little sweet potato pies like this.
Yeah.
And pecan pie.
Okay.
I made German chocolate cakes and everything. But here's what I did.
Uh-huh.
I studied how fast what went.
Mm.
And when we would have another dessert with banana pudding, we would have that dessert left. And all the banana
Yeah.
pudding would be gone. You can tell I'm I like simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
I like things that you can go in and boil and do the bread and stuff, and it won't take that long.
I love it. No, I think it's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just looking at this menu thinking.
I let my friend John around there to the loft do the high end steaks and stuff. I have asked her, Miss Bell, why you don't have steaks? I said, well, how long you gonna be here? I said, wait till 5 o'clock and go around
That's
to the
right.
loft there.
Yeah, that's right. You do lunch, right? You are a
And he
lunch.
does dinner.
And hey, that's a good steak over there.
Oh, I love it.
So what about breakfast? Have you ever thought about doing breakfast here?
We
or-
tried it and we got great reviews. We didn't have the staff.
Mm-hmm. So it's like a lot of logistics, huh? You have to think it
The
through.
thing is now that's hurting us that didn't hurt us until after, what was that? COVID. After that happened, we got through that, but nobody wanted to work.
Yeah.
So now it's really a family deal. I got 5 family members in here, and that's what keeps us going.
That's awesome. Do you have a good biscuit recipe? You like to make biscuits?
Hope that was one thing that Mama, Neil, and my mama and my grandmama, I just could never get it. They just didn't come out fluffy like theirs did. They came out, but they just wasn't fluffy.
So that's
like
not
mine.
your thing, huh?
And I tried not to. I tried not to
That's
have it.
funny.
I did them a few times on the menu, but not all the time.
So y'all do sweet tea, I see now?
Oh yeah, and they love the sweet tea.
Okay, so you have your sweet tea now for sale, I see too.
Yeah.
All right. I'm loving that menu. Like you said, it's simplistic, but it's
Let me tell you something else, Hope, that really, really make me smile. When my babies come in here and be tearing that macaroni and cheese up.
that's
and
my
then
daughter's.
they'll have a drumstick bone. There was some kids over there one time playing, and they had got hungry. So I don't know if it one or two said, I want some chicken nuggets. And another little boy said, nope. So I want a chicken with a bone in it. I want some Miss Pearl chicken.
A chicken leg, huh? I love it.
With a bone in it. Yeah, that chicken.
Well, has anything crazy ever happened to you, Miss Pearl?
Like in here?
Yeah.
Bad experiences?
Or good, bad, I don't know. Just
I haven't had a whole lot of bad.
any mishaps in the kitchen?
We've had some. But let me tell you about this, and I think you still can get my banana pudding episode on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
It was a lady came in here, and it was swarming. And when she got up there, she couldn't get banana pudding.
Because y'all were out, huh?
And she evidently had her mouth ready for that banana pudding. So they got me, and they told me the story. And she had gone outside, and I went up there, and I said, I heard you didn't get your banana pudding. She said, no, I didn't, and it was on the menu. I said, the volume was extremely high today.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but you could get some now. I said, we working on banana pudding now. She said, oh, Miss Pearl, you didn't have to do that. I said, oh, yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
So she came back in, and she got her banana pudding, and we hugged. I think Rodney took a picture of us or something. We hugged, and it was a banana pudding thing. It's still on YouTube, ain't it?
Oh.
Hope I just see it.
Okay, so it's like a YouTube channel. Okay.
I try to stay as human as I can
Mm-hmm.
because I've been in their places and I know how I act when I go to a restaurant and things not right.
Yeah.
I've been had a challenge about my fur babies. I got one I love dearly, and I tell them if they could slip them in there and it don't disturb the member, like put it right down there. I've had some complaints about that, and I've had some thumbs up about it, you know. Linda one time, and I thought this was a great idea because I had asked one of my customers with a puppy, did they want me to bring some water out? And the wife was already in here getting a cup of water.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what? I said, my friend tried to have that pail there where the puppies can drink water. But like I'm saying, Hope, I'm just enjoying every moment of this. I'm so grateful. And like I tell my customer, this is not Pearl doing this.
Mm-hmm.
It's somebody bigger than me.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I know that.
Right.
And I'm grateful for it.
That's right. That's amazing. That's a wonderful perspective on life, I think. Well, I know that you have influenced some people, and I was told this past weekend at church that you even influenced some musicians to write a song about you.
Yeah,
Can you
well,
talk about that?
Yes, John.
Pastor John.
Yeah, Pastor John and some more of his friends.
The classics, right? His band?
And we tried to sell them, but I don't know what happened. Linda can talk
But
to
there's
them
a song, right?
It's
What's
still
it
out there.
Do you know what it's called, the name of it?
Miss Pearl.
Or is it called... John told me and I can't remember. Okay.
She'll find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah, she'll.
Is there a particular cookbook that has influenced you through the years? Like for my family, like Bell's Best is a big deal.
Bell's Best is one of them, and Betty Crocker.
Okay. Did your grandmother or your mom use cookbooks, or they just cooked from scratch?
From scratch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't cook from cookbooks.
Okay. So when you reflect on your life, what are you most proud of in life?
I'm proud of being a mother.
Uh-huh.
I'm proud of being a part of a loving family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud that I'm willing to work hard for something of value to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud to see when people are smiling because something has happened good in their life. So the main thing is that I'm so proud of is that I'm a people person.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too many people that really don't like me. You know, I try to treat people the way I want to be treated.
So, in your mind, how old do you feel?
Hope.
Because how old did you tell me you were? How old are you?
I'm 76.
So how old do you feel, though? How old is Pearl?
Well, lately, I've been feeling about like I'm 70 or 72. But when I opened this thing, I felt like I was 40 or 45, and I was,
Yeah?
Yeah.
How do you feel about aging?
I'm enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
I really am. And I think the aging process in my life is the inner peace coming out, and, that helped out a lot with it.
So you feel like getting older and brings peace because you maybe understand things a little better?
Yeah, it brings peace.
Well, let me ask you this then. Do you have a favorite scripture that has brought you peace or comfort in your life?
My mother kept her Bible open on her nightstand with the 23rd Psalms.
Mm-hmm.
That was hers, and that's mine. I heard a pastor preach out of 23rd Psalms, and he said what he was going to do. He said the 23rd Psalm is loaded. It covers a lot of things, and it does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's my favorite. Make a joyful noise. I got a lot of them, but that's my favorite. Okay. And I have to be honest, the reason why I grew up with that scripture on my mama's. Yeah. So I read it a lot. Yeah,
because it probably reminds you of your mama, huh? Brings you comfort.
Yeah. Is
there any particular food you don't like? What does Pearl not like? You eat all your vegetables?
Yes. And we had to eat vegetables when we were coming up.
So there's nothing that you...
I'm trying to think what I don't like. I never thought about that. That's a good question.
Because I used to not like tomatoes, but the older I've gotten, I have acquired a taste for tomatoes.
I don't know. I like rutabaga. I don't know what... I can't really think of what I really don't like.
I'd say
because what I really don't like, I've never cooked it in the home or the business. And if I go to a restaurant, I'm not going to choose it on the menu.
That's right.
So I don't have too many.
That's good. You're not a picky eater, huh?
I'm not picky.
So
that's the reason why you got the home cooked food.
Hey, it speaks to people,
Yeah, it does.
And also, I think food can bring back memories.
Everybody say, "Oh, Miss Fur, you about my grandma." They say that all the time.
Yeah, it reminds them of another time, you know. All right, this is my last question, Miss Pearl. So, what are your goals for the years to come?
For the years to come, my goals are to try to finish out this journey. I would like to have a book telling my experiences. I would like to do a little cooking on a food thing. I don't know, whatever. I would like to do something. I want to be a part of giving,
Yeah.
donating, getting to where I can be involved with a nonprofit. That's really where I wanted to be at this age, but God hadn't done it yet. So if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen when I get older.
So there's still work to be done.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of work to be done. Let me tell you something, the things that really blesses my heart. It was some bad weather or something happened, and the hospitals and the big donors that do food and Red Cross take food. So the young lady asked my niece, "So you think Miss Pearl would, do some food?" And she said, "Call and ask them." So I did. She explained that it was nonprofit and meals could only be $7. Me and my staff went back there and we fixed a course meal just like what we said. 200 for lunch and 200 for dinner. And one of their directors or something called me from Jackson. Said, "Miss Pearl," said, "we've never experienced a driver to say he couldn't hardly drive smelling that good food."
Wow.
Said Miss Pearl had home-cooked meal. I said, "Well, why would I give a sandwich when I sell home-cooked food? That didn't make no sense to me." And they went on and said, "Well, there's somebody else could do this and that, but that's what I have to do.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make a sandwich and I'm selling home-cooked food in there." So I gave whoever needed a meal a home-cooked meal.
You know what, Miss Pearl? I feel like you always bring your best, don't you?
I do. I try to.
And I appreciate that.
Yes, I do. And I appreciate you, Hope, taking the time with me. You got it off now.
No, I can though.
Cut
You
that
want?
off. I'll tell you what Linda did.
Help us now, blessed Savior, as we go not let us fail or stumble as we go along our way. Lead us on, oh Lord Jesus, for that happy home. I just see